come to the fag end of our today's first day's conclave by OEA, Odisha Vision 2036. So I hope that this deliberation is going to definitely bring some change in the future of the Odisha's economy and the society as a whole. I would like to invite our panelists on the stage. Professor Keshav Das Sir, President OEA. I request Sir to please join us to chair the session. Next we have our chief guest, Ms. Abha Mishra Ma'am, Odisha Head, UNDP. Ma'am, you're requested to please join us. We have Dr. Himanshu Shekhar Raut Sir, Head, Department of Applied and Analytical Economics, Utkal University, as one of our panelists. And we have our one and only Dr. Amarendra Das Sir, Secretary OEA, as a panelist in the valedictory session. Ms. Abha Mishra Ma'am is a postgraduate in development anthropology. Ma'am has an experience of over 25 years of action-based research and implementation in community development projects with specialized skills in project management, design, review and technical support in programs such as disaster risk reduction, livelihood, women's empowerment and tribal studies. Currently, she is working with the United National Development Program as National Project Coordinator for a climate risk management project for urban areas which aims to reduce disaster risk in urban areas by enhancing institutional capacities to integrate climate risk reduction measures in development programs as well as to undertake mitigation activities based on scientific analysis and enhance community capacities to manage climate risk in urban areas by enhancing the preparedness. Ma'am, it's indeed our pleasure to have you with us today. I request the student volunteers to kindly welcome our dignitaries by presenting floral bouquets. I now request Professor Keshav Das Sir, President OEA, to take over the session.
Thank you so very much. We have overshot the time, but still we find quite a good number of people in the audience. Thank you so very much for your patience. And because this is a kind of a discussion over a very, very significant issue for the state, and also it involves vision. So it is quite likely that there will be many speakers who would like to share more ideas. In fact, that's the central purpose of this event. Without taking much time, let me just briefly indicate to you that we had an extremely rich session, and it was to our luck that we could have a large number of very, very eminent personalities, those who are concerned about the Odisha society, Odisha economy, and they shared their ideas. So it was very important that not most of them were economists. In fact, that in itself gives us a lot of ideas that even if you are sort of planning for the economic growth or development, nothing happens without the support, without the concurrent development of other sectors, whether they are what was mentioned as the natural sector or what was mentioned as the social sector. So with that, we are also very hopeful that the document that we are preparing will be enriched by the ideas, the comments we receive from the individual speakers, scholars, bureaucrats, and also people from the media. So with this, I will not take much time, so may I, we'll make it a relatively shorter valedictory event, but it will be much richer with our eminent speakers, particularly Dr. Abha Mishra, who will be talking to us. And before that, may I request Professor Himanshu Raut to kindly speak on the occasion. Professor Himanshu Raut.
Respected President of this session and President of Odisha Economic Association, Professor Keshav Das Sir, guest and panelist Abha Misra Madam, head of the UNDP, dignitaries of the dais, former Vice Chancellor Professor Vinayak Rath and other members, student friends, delegates. I will just briefly tell about the whole day event. In the inaugural session, Professor Ganeshi Lal, Honorable Governor of Odisha, emphasized about the cultural heritage of Odisha and gave his views on its aspirations by quoting Srimad Bhagavad Gita and taking instance from some of the personal encounters. Professor Savita Acharya of our university also blessed us and gave her views about the vision document. In the first technical session, chaired by Professor Mitali Chinara, first speaker was Rajesh Mahapatra, who was given emphasis on the demography, affordable and accessible healthcare, provision of quality of public distribution system. He also emphasized on agriculture and also a sustainable ecological base for man, forest and animals. The second speaker was there, Amar Patnaik, Dr. Amar Patnaik, who has delivered the second speech, giving importance to inequity, employment and digital connectivity. And the third speaker was, the next session, next technical session, was the first Sri Panchanan Kanungo, former Finance Minister, gave importance to potential of export industries of Odisha, journey of Odisha in the 75 years, in respect of minerals, human resources and water resources, and about the tourism and economic development. Somaranjan Patnaik, Honorable Member of Legislative Assembly, reflected upon the journey of the 88 years old Odisha, and he spoke about the rich state but the poor people concept, how it was changed, and the significance of minerals for the overall development of Odisha, and also he spoke about the industrialization and postal issues. Sri Tathagat Satpathy, editor of Daritri, former member of parliament, told about the rate tapism hindering this economic growth, history of local and self-government of Odisha, equitable distribution of economic development, and about employment and cooperation and combination of localized planning, how the centralized planning to localized planning started and what are the demerits of it. In the last session, last technical session, Sanjeev Hota, the former IS, was talking about importance about the stock taking and baseline survey is required for a vision document, and he was giving importance to how extended system of national accounting should include environment with SIA and EIA. He also gave importance on health and education. Professor Ashok Das gave importance to skill, how to integrate skill in education, and he talked about to increase the GER from 21 to 50 and inclusive excellence in education and how to achieve the 6-point GDP to be devoted for education. And the last speaker, Ashok Mahapatra, was telling that life expectancy is good, but we should have a life expectancy with 15 tablets per day is not good. And he has given two sides, one preventive care and curative care. On preventive care, he told about the normal nutrition, sound sleep, and enjoy your work. And the curative care, he told about the infrastructure and other human resources in the health sector, which will give a good healthcare system in the country. With this, I thank Odisha Economic Association officials that giving the chance to organize the first day of this Odisha Vision document in Utkal University, and we hope we have tried our best to give, and we hope all you have enjoyed here. Thank you. Thank you.
So much, Professor Himanshu Rao. Despite your complete involvement in this whole event, you have been working so very hard, and during that time he has found time to make these notes of all the lectures. I'm really seriously impressed by that. Thank you so very much, and that note will be of great use to us. Next, may I please request Dr. Abha Misra. In fact, hers will be the real valedictory address, however short time she might choose to speak on. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much. Good evening, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. And I think there are a lot of students who are still waiting. At 5:30, I'm sure everyone is thinking like me when I was a student of Utkal University. Kebe kotha guda chhadibe bore kar saleni dinore bose bose ki nido lagila tike jai ki bahare bulli ki tike guchup khaiba puo mane bhabuthibe RD college samnare tike jai thante ठीक है now so and you know economics when I used to study I studied anthropology and I actually did a honors on elective on development anthropology and I had a paper on statistics which was quite interesting. But in anthropology I had one subject which was theories and philosophies, and that was the time when I used to sleep, and that was early morning at 10:30 a.m. So half of the time I used to try and bunk the classes, and I am sure when we do surveys and when economists needs the data, you get half-cooked data or the data which has to be revalidated and revalidated. So what is my vision? That's what we are talking about. Ame samaste ethi Odia shayad basthibu kichi loko baharu bi asthandi, and I think ame tako embrace karibu kahi Odisha gote emtiya rajya joti sabu chari pakhare ko na ko state achi, of course samudra bi achi, samudra bhitaru to macho asiki am sangre basibani, but so ame gote composite family achu Odisha re. So our vision be semti composite haba darkar. We need to have a diversified vision, but a vision which takes us somewhere. So for me, my vision of Odisha would be where you all are laughing or you have happiness. The happiness index is the highest. If you really look at it, we are even worse. If in the global happiness index, we are even worse than Pakistan. Come on, we cannot be like that. Somewhere we are going wrong. So my vision, part of my vision is that I have happiness all across in Odisha. Then we have respect. Unfortunately, somewhere we have forgotten where the respect needs to be given. When I was in Bani Bihar and we used to go and have gupchup or ice creams, man tike warden koti soi palte tapare hostel vanro chupcha bahari ki rati 10 tale jaiki RD college samnare sethi ice cream khaiba ko jibu ki gupchup khaiba ko jibu, we used to go there, we were safe. Somewhere we have lost that safety net. And that is what we need to regain, and also respect each other. Be it an old person, I still remember the boys. I'm a बहुत कम boss चलता, but boss रे अगर कई भी टिक्के boys को लोगों थिले सांगे सांगे थिया है कि जियो थाओ कि पुओ थाओ कोड़े सीटा दे दे उठले. Somewhere we have lost it. Somewhere we have lost it. Why we have lost it? We are not debating that. But we have lost it. So we need to regain that. The final and most important thing is we need to have a sustainable environment which is and a development which is people-centric, based on a whole government system. We cannot have silos. ମୁଁ ଏବେ କିଛି ବୁଦ୍ଧିଜୀବୀ ମାନଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ବାହାରେ ଠିଆ ହେଇକି ଗପୁଥିଲି. आमे इकोनॉमिक्स रे कौन करचु इकोनॉमिक्स रे जेतला आमे डिस्कोर्स करचु कि आमे जेतला लेखा लेखी करूचु आमे कौन देखुचु आमे जीडीपी ग्रोथ ता निहायती देखुचु बट ता भितरे को जागार आमे भूली जाउचु हमर जो सोशल एस्पेक्ट्स अछि सेटा कोठी जाइछि are we even collating that what is the methodology to do it a social sciences index has been taken out by the government of India this time where are we that's something which we all need to debate on when we are talking about data we were also thinking about how to gather data lot of AI tools are being made lot of websites for every project there are databases but when you look at the databases and try to compare them you are not able to do it who will tell us how to do that maybe it's something your job also maybe somewhere you have to guide all of us because some people do certain type of work but the others don't understand what type of work they are doing how do we take it forward it's very important for all of us to understand that each one of you are contributing it's not just about in UNDP I don't know how many of you know what UNDP is what is the full form of UNDP okay right good so I know everybody knows what UNDP is we bring out documents like human development report we do bring out multi-dimensional poverty indexes now we are also bringing out lot of social science indexing also we are also trying to see if we can come up with urban risk we also do a lot of urban risk resilience programs and urban indexes is also very important but our team is not just about economics it's also about all the other parts and why I am saying this a lot of you would have been hearing about SDGs sustainable development goals and one of the principles of sustainable development goal is leave no one behind LNOB now what does it mean many a times when we are computing our data we are doing it on a broader parameters and not looking at the smaller points and if we want to have a vision which I said we cannot leave even a single person from our state behind and that includes a transgender a binary a disabled a differentially abled person a sex worker a prisoner have you ever thought about what is the problems of the prisoners it's very broad let us think beyond growth as just certain numbers with infrastructural development because like my previous speakers in the last session he was speaking about we are building AIMS but we don't have good doctors so somewhere the calculations went wrong we thought if we had good infrastructure we'll get doctors but we don't know if we have counseled enough students to become doctors because they may like to be IT professionals because they are more comfortable with it so I will not take too much of your more time but just leave it with you few thoughts women empowerment is very important as mentioned I am sure in the whole day that does not mean that we are leaving the men behind it means that we are equal partners we need a vision where both men and women are equal partners. If a man wants to stay back home and take care of the child and the house, let him be. Let us encourage him. Let us support him. If a woman wants to become a pilot, let us support the person. Let us not restrict. So we need equal, and along with that, we also need to respect all the other groups which are there, who have been in the closets but are today coming out. So that is the vision which we need to take forward. Education. Today only, somebody was just mentioning, he has just finished a small survey, and it was interesting to hear him. He was saying that the dropout rates, of course it's very high in the after the primary and in the middle school and others, but even in the higher education it is becoming more. Are we calculating that? Why is it happening? Is it just because of the financial crunching, or is it because they don't find a direction? To give you just one example, about 25 years ago, there was a young boy, a Bauri person who works in our village, and once he failed in his 10th exam, he said, I will not give it. We tried and motivated him and said, so he just asked me, what type of job will I do if I have to do? If I get an education, what type of job? So somebody mentioned, you can become a teacher, engineer, doctor. No, I am not interested in it. What are you interested in it? I am interested in painting. So, how do we channelize that person's interest? His father would not be able to understand why he wanted to do painting, because he was a laborer himself. So somewhere that whole counseling is very important. Maybe that's also a topic which needs to, to be thought through. One of my colleagues is wanting to do a PhD on higher education and disability, access of differentially abled person, and he is running around for data. He doesn't find it, he doesn't get it. We do not even understand how many, can a differentially abled person come into this building? Do we have enough ramps? How will he go? Could be, could not be. So these are the issues he is trying to, and that is a survey which is very, very important. And again, an economist will also be included, because the person has to say what is the cost benefit analysis of the whole design stage inclusion and after design inclusion. It's very, very important. Discrimination is increasing, and it happens at different times, and in our state, after a disaster, it happens very fast. Because people are not very, very sympathetic. And after first 7 days is when people are all together. When the goodies start coming in, we all want it in our pockets. So that's another thing where we need to work for. And my vision is also for you youth. Dream, dream, dream. Dream big. Innovate. We are not innovating enough. I heard it from a Japanese friend that every household in Japan, somewhere or other, they have a small workplace in their house, and they tinkle with, electronic goods or mechanical goods or any social impact ideas they come up with. It's a hub. Let's start thinking about it. Unfortunately, during when we were studying, the only place where we used to be able to, showcase our work was our MSc degree thesis presentation. but now you get more and more opportunities. Please use that opportunity, go forward. This time is for enjoyment, but if you do not have a vision for yourself and for the state, you will only enjoy little, you will not enjoy enough. So, let us have a vision where for our state we work towards ensuring there is no poverty. Women are and men are equal partners. We have an inclusive society. And finally, the youth dream big and innovate in such a way that Odisha is known across the globe. Thank you very much.
Inspiring talk, and also what was most impressive, I thought, was your initial point about thinking about a composite, sort of having a composite vision, having a vision which respects diversity and especially which respects the disabilities of a variety of kind, and your emphasis on a kind of a gender neutral society, and also to the youth, your idea about dreaming big. I think you sort of summed it up, the whole aspiration of a state in 2036, and also you very nicely brought in a large number of issues which we are touching around, largely on the social sector, but I think also a vision of an inclusive society is what you suggested. Thank you so very much to have graced the occasion. Thank you, madam. And with this, may I request the secretary, the person who has toiled so very hard for such a long time, Dr. Amarendra Das, please, for a report of time.
Come to an end, and I would like to thank first the audience, and particularly the students and the chapter writers and the panelists who have sat throughout the day patiently and listened to all the deliberations. I think the deliberations were quite interesting, and we got ideas, which probably we cannot think in our economics domain. And also to add to that, Ms. Ala Misra, who again has the anthropology background, and in fact they also give a different perspective. So as student of economics, we need to go beyond our stream, and we need to think in a very broad manner about the development concept. So I hope our chapter writers will reflect on all those things. So I thank all the panelists who spent their valuable time and shared their knowledge, and special thanks to Shubhangi, who was the master of ceremony throughout the day, and Mithal ma'am, who was also MC, Mithal Sinara, and master of ceremony in the inaugural program. And then I would also like to thank all the faculty members of Economics Department or Analytical and Applied Economics Department, Utkal University. In fact, I should say that I was not present yesterday here, but I was so confident that everything will happen perfectly, because I still feel that I am part of this department, because I have worked here for 3.5 years. And so I thank all the faculty members of Economics Department and Utkal University, and the students particularly, for putting up this, so much of effort and making this event a grand success. And particularly the head of the department, who is always silent, Dr. I have so much of faith and respect for him in fact, I must say that we were a little bit worried also that how this event will come up, and I think this has come up really well. And I'd also like to thank Professor Keshav Das, President of the Economic Association, who has been like the guiding source. In fact, whatever writing that you do, I send him immediately and Sir will reply immediately. So the final edit would be midnight or wherever you ask, he will promptly respond to all that. So thank you so much, sir. And then the media friends and all the supporting staff, people who provided us food and tea, snacks, the camera persons, and the event manager, so everyone. I think I have not missed anyone. If I missed anyone, then yeah, Alok sir is there. In fact, I should have taken all the names of faculty members of the economics department. That's why I have not told. So with this, Sonram ma'am, Alok sir, and Kelasan, who are good like friends of mine, and Siva Shankar sir, and Shankar, yeah. So thank you so much. With this we conclude. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And thanks to all, especially our Secretary, sir, Dr. Amarendra Das, sir. And we all will meet tomorrow and day after at NISER. You all can come and join the series. We can call it a day today, and a big round of applause for a successful inaugural and the first day of the Odisha Vision 2036 conference.